Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm Sharon with Entelechy Vision's healing practice, supporting you on your healing path. To stay tuned of new videos, please like and subscribe to the channel to be notified when they do come out. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to discuss today about the ways in which the collective energies are really escalating and amplifying for us, and how we can best utilize different tools to stay centered within the fray of all of it. Because these aren't necessarily easy times to be living in. And this is the amplitude of where it's going to be staying for quite some time. The intensity is not going to be letting up, because we are in these times of very, very powerful change. So these next many years are going to have us moving through this powerful transition as a planet. So it is up to us to really cultivate ways that we can find that place of balance within all of it. Even if we have days where we don't feel our best, we don't feel our greatest selves, because we're only human and we're moving through these times, and we have the emotions that we're having, or the physical sensations as our bodies and our energy fields are changing. So one thing that I want to begin with here is really how we cultivate that space within our minds, our reactions to all that is taking place. And a number one perspective to have is to be in a state of mindfulness, to be in the present moment. Because as we're moving through all of these shifts as a planet, we come back to the things that we can control. That will give us a sense of power and ease as we're moving through all of this intensity. And cultivating a space of mindfulness it's not a passive experience or reaction to what's occurring, but more of a centered approach to what is currently taking place for you in this moment. Appreciating and acknowledging that you are in this present moment. You're not in the future. You are not in the past. You bring your focus back to this very now moment. And that will help to ease anxiety. It will help to calm your nervous system, because your mind isn't reaching for the future or ruminating on the past, but simply reminding yourself to come back to the here and now, which is the place that you can start from. And that's tuning into your current experience. And you can utilize your breath to do that. Doing that wherever you are. You could be out and about in public, in a store, or engaging with another person in a dialogue. And you are using your breath to tune back into your body, back into this present state, and noticing sensations that are taking place within you, or simply noticing your external situation, the environment that is immediately around you, and becoming hyper aware of your environment. That is going to sink you back into a place of calm and safety. And it will also allow you to appreciate the experience of life in a deeper way, even while this maelstrom of chaos may be happening on the planet. You are sinking your focus back into this very moment, which is what you can control. So that's a number one way to shift your perspective and also aid you in the reactions of anything that may be coming up as you're responding to the shifts that are taking place. Another perspective shift is to tune into your higher self. Your higher self is your expanded consciousness state. It is part of you. It's part of your soul. And it lies about a foot above your head. So anytime you are feeling rocked, you're feeling anxious, thrown off, or if you're extra emotional, you're having an extreme emotional reaction, you can sync up to this aspect of yourself, which is all knowing, all seeing. It's part of who you are. It is truly who you are, your truest form of yourself. And tuning into that part of your expanded self and asking your higher self to merge with you now. So asking your higher self to blend with your personality self. And you'll find that there is a softening that occurs as soon as you do that. You could even try it right now and feel that softening that takes place most likely within your heart space as you say those words. And you can state out loud, by the power of my I am presence, I ask my higher self to fully merge with me now. And that's going to smooth out the edges of your emotional rawness, because your higher self has that bigger picture of what's taking place in your life, any challenges that you're currently moving through, and even the bigger picture of what is occurring on the earth and all of the changes, all that feels chaotic. It all has a divine orchestration for why this is all taking place. Even if we can't see the bigger picture or how this is all going to play out eventually, it is all being orchestrated for a higher purpose. And our higher selves will help us to remind our bodies of that purpose, of that sense of ease and safety as we move through these times. Another tool to turn to, or perspective shift to have, is coming back to the practices that you can control. And that is setting up some very solid but also consistent routines for yourself as you navigate your day, specifically in the morning, is very helpful. And why do I share that? Because if you have a certain type of routine of self-care practices that are benefiting your body, benefiting your mind, your emotions, your auric field, this combination of practices will help you to feel stronger in your sense of stability throughout these times. And that is a very intense and needed practice to have. That's something we should make a priority in these times. Self-care is not an option as we move through this experience as a planet, but more of a necessity. So think about how you begin your day. And if you have kiddos, sometimes it can be a little bit trickier to navigate your own self-care. You may need to push those practices to later at night when they are in bed. But aiming to have some types of practices that will boost your energetic field, strengthening your light in your field, which ultimately strengthens your emotional capacity, your mental state, your mood, and your physicality. So working on your energetic body with specific practices will be key as we continue to move through these transitional years as a planet. So some examples of that are having some kind of movement practice and really turning to that in times when you are feeling thrown off, when you're feeling stagnant or you're feeling extra emotional, tender, or your nervous system is very rattled. turning to that to help to stabilize you, but also to offload old energy. And whatever movement practice calls to you, whether that is outdoors, something more elevating, cardio, something more inward, such as yin or yoga, or simply a walk outside that's just going to clear your head and get you out of that kind of rattled nervous system state. Another practice is turning to ways to help to calm yourself. So we can have those outward movement practices, but it's important to have the inward strengthening practices. So whether that is meditation or simply sitting with your breath and strengthening your connection to your energy body, your light body, to your higher self, your expanded state, but also your inner world. And many people will find that if they're newer to meditation or looking within, that it's harder for them to calm the waters of their mind right away. And that's okay. That's not the aim for the practice right off the bat. It's about being consistent with it so that your mind begins to respond to that consistent practice, and you'll find that your mental state begins to become more calm and more easily fall into that state the more you practice it. And that begins to ripple out into all aspects of your life. You may find that you are calmer in your reactions. Your nervous system is much more settled, and even your body may be less tense, less achy, because you are working with your mental state and your emotional state. If you are newer to the practice, utilizing your breath as that anchor, as that ally to bring you back to that state of the centered presence. So if the mind is very active in the meditation, just turning back to the breath and anchoring from that space. And maybe setting a timer for at least 5 minutes to allow yourself a daily practice of turning within. So beginning there with these tools will help to take some of the edge off of these times. I will come back on here again to offer some more tips as we move through these transformational experiences on the planet. If you'd like to learn more about some additional tools, you can find my entire healing library of tools on our Patreon link below, and I'll leave that in the description for you.